So I needed a little change of pace. So I decided to paint the grain truck.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's pain is another man's pleasure. If it's out of style, it sure drives me wild. I'm a fan of it. Old shit. I'm a fan of it. Old shit.
So I bought this baby last year, used. The fellow that I got it from used it to haul shingles once in a while, but it is a grain truck. I use it as a dump truck. I'm not a commodity farmer. It does have all the fixins for a grain truck, the side roll tarp, the things to hold water from coming off. So I could haul feed with it, which I will be doing probably occasionally as my farm gets a little bigger here. But I use it for hauling wood chips, firewood, topsoil, clay, and I'll probably use it for hauling hay and stuff like that. And man, a good dump truck is super, super handy on the farm. This poor thing probably hasn't had a wash in 20 years. I got it for a smoking deal. It's got a new rebuilt engine in it. I was doing some maintenance and I washed it. It's like, it literally hasn't been washed in probably 20 years. There's like this grime film on it or whatever. And cleaned it up, and I'm doing some other maintenance anyways. I'm like, hey, I got a can of paint that I bought for $50, and I think I got a roll of masking tape, which is now $6, and some old newspaper, and then my $14 sprayer. I know guys that build multi-$1,000 kitchens and paint them with this $14 sprayer that I got. So might as well. There's not too much to mask off, and just gonna hit it with nice white. Pressure washed it really good. Just a sanding sponge I had kind of went over that, threw some degreaser on it, pressure washed it again, let it sit outside and dry, and then masking tape and some newspapers, and got the sprayer out and threw $80 worth of paint on it. I don't read the paper anymore. It's all the same stuff, like, but just I was reading it while I put it on. Oh, classic Canada. Classic. Covered all the windows, headlights. There isn't much to do. Now, as long as it doesn't rain. Ah, crap. Turning a $60 job into a $65 job. I'm never going to financially recover from this. It's sunny and raining? Still good. Still good. We're okay. We're still good. Still a $60 job. Move, Beetle. You're going to become part of the grain truck. This paint, I've used it on some other farm implements. It works really good. $50 a can. So for this paint, you dilute it with a paint thinner so that it goes through the air sprayer properly. So you got to get the right consistency, or else not very much paint comes out. It kind of splatters, and if it's too thin, that's no good either. The first go around, the paint was a little too thick and not coming out as fast as I liked. So the next coat, I diluted it a little bit more, and it came out nice and quick. So for prep, it was simply pressure washing. That took about 2 hours, all the grease and stuff, especially from underneath and on the box. Degreasing it, light sanding with a sanding sponge, pressure wash again, and then put the paint on. Cleaned it so good, I might as well do the frame and some of the underside as well. I ran out of paint. Darn it. I am never going to financially recover from this. Sent the wife and the boy, gave them my debit card to pick up another can. The total I used for this entire grain truck was 1.5 cans at $50 a can. And that's literally doing the entire box, the entire cab body, even the insides of the doors and around the doors. Now since I got the paint, I might as well do the underside of the hood. So 1.5 cans for the entire grain truck. Like literally the entire grain truck. Everything. Boy, it's a really good thing I'm not using black paint. I'd be eligible to be the Prime Minister. Now I just need a bath and some paint thinner. Overall, I think it went really, really well, actually. A few hours later, all I do is take all of the masking tape and newspaper off of everywhere I put it, all the windows, all of the headlights and signal lights. I got a little tiny bit of overspray on some of the glass because the masking tape in the rain lifted up. So I'm just using a razor blade to scrape some of that off. That took like 5 minutes. I didn't have time to film the interior, but ripped up all the old carpet and used a rock liner for the floor in the interior. Nice and clean. I'm pretty happy with it. Should we? Maybe we'll just wait till society collapses. I made a little one too. It's so cute. I love the Punisher. He's my favorite. I really like white vehicles. White doesn't absorb the sun. So something old like this doesn't have an air conditioner, obviously. And just white is reflective and it doesn't get as hot in there. I like the look of it. It's nice and clean. Younger Dean would have painted it camo, but I'm just going everything white like a fleet. So super simple. It turned out really, really good. And I like taking care of my equipment, the best I can. I'm busy all the time. I try to learn all the maintenance myself. I'm not a mechanic. I'm a carpenter by trade, but I do change fluids and filters and know basics, right? But I don't sell shit. I just buy shit that's really good, old usually, so there's no computers. For instance, right now my skid steer, which is a beautiful machine, is actually in the shop because of, guess what, computer issues, right? So if I was to do it over again, I would have bought a skid steer from the 1980s, literally, not joking. Old equipment is awesome. It's real thick steel, just had surface rust on, and new coat of paint. It's good for many, many, many more years now. This old beauty is from the 1960s Ford 5000 tractor. Just works all the time. This little guy, Ford 8N, built in the 1940s, still going. This piece of garbage is newer, and it's broken all the time. About the newest I'd ever want to go is the 1990s. This is a 1991 first-gen Cummins turbo diesel. I'm second owner. Now, I'm not a commodity farmer or a grain farmer, but this dump truck, or it's a grain truck, is for earthworks. So I haul wood chips with it, topsoil, clay. I have to move a bunch of clay to build up some building sites of other projects that I'm doing, and got a really good deal on it, and it just works flawlessly. Even took metal runs to the metal scrapyard, even a dump run, farm cleanup in the spring, right? And this thing just needed some maintenance and $80 worth of paint, really. So fluids and filters checked. This thing's from the 1970s. I'd rather have this than a newer truck, carbureted engine, and it just works all the time. So new battery this spring. So it's got the side roller for a grain truck, all the pieces, like you kind of make a roof that doesn't hold water for a grain truck. It does have the back doors for the grain truck, but I just keep those off. Piece of plywood for if I'm hauling wood chips, and then also a roller tarp that I can cover up a wood chip load or something. So that's really convenient. And it's a PTO dump. I've filled this thing literally to the top with clay, made sure the truck was level when I dumped it, and oh yeah, it dumps. It's awesome. Awesome little unit. Now, something like this on a little homestead farm like mine essentially doesn't run all winter, and it'll run, maybe I'll fire it up every 2-3 weeks in the summer, unless I got a project where I'm hauling wood chips and it'll run for a couple days and stuff. It's obviously not very efficient. This is a gas gas unit as well. But for storing it, you just have it outside, battery maintainer on, some mouse killer or something in it, and that's about it. So it's super handy on the farm. So let's say things get bad in the world or something in the future, and I have some gas, you can fire it up, run it over, pick up a whole truckload of grain, like feed for pigs and chickens or something, bring it back, and you procured that resource, right? So this is a prepper thing as well as a very convenient homestead tool. So literally a can and a half of paint, total cost of $80. That includes a $6 roll of masking tape, some newspapers, my $14 air sprayer, and it's beautiful. Should I? I don't want to be seen in public. Nah.
There in a pinch, I'm a fan of it. Old shit. Splitting logs, smoking hogs, feeding leftovers to a three-legged dog. I'm a fan of it. Old shit. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's pain is another man's pleasure. If it's out of style, it sure drives me wild. I'm a fan of it. Old shit. I'm a fan of it. Old shit.